Now, before we proceed with today in retrospect, I'd like to say a very big thank you to you all for an amazing 11,000 subscribers. I appreciate the love and support. It's a brand new week. I hope you're all prepared for it with all the positivity and everything that it comes with. Now, good day to you all. If you just tune in, you're live, and it's all about today in retrospect with me, Shejackiesays. Now, our top stories. The IMF team arrives in Ghana today, September 26th, to continue discussions with government over a program. Also, 5 rescuers dead as typhoon hits Philippines. Far-right leader Giorgia Meloni has claimed victory in Italy's election and is on course to become the country's first female prime minister. NASA is planning to crash a spacecraft into an asteroid to stop it from crashing on the Earth. Now, the news with detail. An International Monetary Staff Fund team will be in Ghana from today, September 26th, to October 7th to continue discussions with the government on policies and reforms that could be supported by lending arrangements. IMF staff will also further engage with other stakeholders during the visit. The IMF team will be led by Stephanie Rodet, the mission chief to Ghana.
The last IMF mission to Ghana was between July 6th and July 13, 2022, to assess the economic situation and discuss the broad lines of the government's enhanced domestic program that could be supported by an IMF lending arrangement. The IMF team met with Vice President Bawumia, Finance Minister Oforiatta, and the Governor of the Bank of Ghana. The team also met with the Parliament Finance Committee, civil society organization, and development partners, including UNICEF and the World Bank, to engage on social spending.
Now, Ghana is currently looking to secure $3 billion loan from the IMF. Now, in other stories, 5 rescue workers in the Philippines have been killed in a typhoon that has left homes flooded and millions without electricity. They were washed away in floods whilst carrying out operations in the district of San Miguel, north of the capital, Manila. The district was among those hit hard by the typhoon Noru, with some residents seen stranded on their roofs, while others waded through the chest-high garbage stream waters, attempting to pass on supplies.
Noru, known locally as Cardin, first made landfall as a super typhoon, but later weakened at 8:20 local time, which is 12:20 GMT on Sunday. It is expected to leave Philippines by Monday evening. More than 74,000 people have been evacuated from the typhoon's path, and officials had earlier issued warnings of serious flooding in areas of the capital, Manila. But so far, there have been no reports of severe damage or widespread loss of life.
Now, in Italy, the far-right leader Giorgia Meloni has claimed victory in Italy's election and is on course to become the country's first female prime minister. Ms. Meloni is widely expected to form Italy's most right-wing government since World War II. This will alarm much of Europe, as Italy is the EU's third biggest economy.
Speaking after the vote, Ms. Meloni said her Brothers of Italy party would govern for everyone and would not betray people's trust. She is predicted to win up to 26% of the vote based on provisional results ahead of her closest rival, Enrico Letta, from the center-left. But the decision on who to become Italy's next leader is up to the president, not Giorgia Meloni, and that will take time. Although she has worked hard to soften her image, emphasizing her support for Ukraine and diluting anti-EU rhetoric, she leads a party rooted in a post-war movement that rose out of dictator Benito Mussolini's fascists.
In early Asia trade, sterling slipped just below $1.04 just before regaining some ground to stand at about $1.05 on Monday morning, which is today UK time. Chancellor Kwasi Kwarteng has promised more tax cuts on top of a £45 billion package he announced on Friday amid expectations borrowing will surge. The pound has also been under pressure due to the strength of the dollar.
The euro also touched a fresh 20-year low against the dollar in morning Asia trade amid investor concerns about the risk of recession as winter approaches with no sign of an end to the energy crisis or the war in Ukraine. If the pound stays at this low level against the dollar, imports of duties priced in dollar, including oil and gas, will be more costly. Other goods from the US could also be considerably more expensive, and British tourists visiting America will find that their holiday money does not go as far as before sterling slid. Now, on Friday, Chancellor Kwasi Kwarteng announced a massive shake-up in UK's taxes during a mini budget. Under the plans, which he hailed a new era for the economy, income tax and the stamp duty on home purchases will be cut, and planned rises in business taxes have been scrapped. Mr. Kwarteng said a major change of direction was needed to kickstart economic growth.
Also, in the coming hours, the American Space Agency will crash a probe into an asteroid. NASA's DART mission wants to see how difficult it would be to stop a sizable space rock from hitting the Earth. The demonstration is taking place 11 kilometers away on a target called Dimorphos.
The agency says the rock is not currently on a path to hit the Earth, nor will the test accidentally send it in our direction. The impact is timed for 11:14 GMT Monday and 12:14 BST on Tuesday. Telescopes will be watching from afar, including the new Superspace Observatory James Webb.
We've all seen how Hollywood would do it, especially in the movie called Armageddon, with brave astronauts and a nuclear weapon. But how do you protect Earth from a killer asteroid for real? NASA is about to find out. This idea is simply to smash a spacecraft into one. The thinking is you would only need to change the rock's velocity by a small amount to alter its path so that it misses the Earth, provided you do it far enough in advance. Moving to Africa, in Uganda, I made a report last week on the high rise of Ebola cases in Uganda, and this week the number of suspected cases of Ebola infections continues to rise in Uganda. Now, the health ministry says there have been 34 new cases. It believes 21 deaths were probably caused by Ebola. Health teams are continuing to trace any people that may have come into contact with it. Now, the outbreak, we believe, started in the central district of Mubende and has now spread to 2 neighboring districts. This is the 4th Ebola outbreak that Uganda has faced. In Tunisia, anti-government demonstrations have taken place in several suburbs in the Tunisian capital, Tunis. Now, marchers have criticized the administration of President Kais Saied for failing to tackle inflation and rising prices for staple goods. Now, moving back to Ghana, straight to Central Region, to be precise, winneba. The University of Education winneba has given stakeholders up to 7th October 2022 to settle students' concern about the accumulative grade point average. After a meeting with protesting final year students, the school has assured that there will be some update to the GPA starting from September 26th, which is today.
Students have been complaining that the school had not been updating their GPA records. The agitation came with the students expected to graduate in about 4 to 5 weeks. Now, result-related issues that have been submitted by various departments have been collated and are being uploaded for students to view online in the coming week. That was a statement from the school. Now, the authorities is also setting a help center to receive complaints after the school students demonstrated on Friday because of the lack of action from the school. UW's management urged students to instead resort to dialogue to have issues resolved.
Now, for showbiz retrospection today, the cheers, thrills and excitement, and of course electric performances thundered the Black Star Square at the Global Citizen Festival on Saturday. And once again, Ghana proved its mettle by giving patrons and the world a memorable and colorful experience that will stick in people's mind for a very long time at the Global Citizen Festival. Now, we saw most of these performances headlining most of Twitter tweets on Saturday and Sunday. Now, most of the performers' unique entrances and the audience's response during all made for some of the spectacular sides. Now, Asha, Raymond, Tiwa Savage, Ghana's Jackie, Sarkodie, and other global stars lit up the stage with tremendous performances, while Stonebwoy's standing entrance on a horse and Stormzy's reverting performance with Yao Talk and Kwasi Arthur added an extra flair to the event. Moving on to international showbiz news. Pop star Rihanna will headline the halftime show at February's Super Bowl in Arizona.
The organizers call the 34-year-old a generational talent in a press release issued on Sunday night. The show is one of the most coveted slots in music, with this year's 14-minute spectacle drawing in more than 120 million viewers. The all-star lineup included Dr. Dre, Snoop Dogg, Eminem, Mary J. Blige, and Kendrick Lamar. The show earned an Emmy Award for Outstanding Variety Special.
For today's sports news in retrospection, after a 3-0 defeat against Ghana, Ghana will face Nicaragua tomorrow at 6 p.m. time at the Estadio Francisco Artes Carrasco in Lorca in Spain as part of their preparations for the Qatar World Cup, which begins in November 20th. Now, we wish them all the best. Last week, I wanted predictions, as most of us were expectant that the Ghana Black Stars would be able to sail through with the Brazil squad. But unfortunately we lost, but we are wishing them all the best this time. We hope that they sail through. Now, also Ronaldo plays an entire 90 minutes for Portugal despite horror crash that left his face covered with blood. Now, Cristiano Ronaldo picked a nasty face injury during the Portugal's Nation League against Czech Republic. Now, the Man United forward suffered the injury after he collided with Czech Republic's goalkeeper in mid-air. The match ended in 4-0 in Portugal's favor, with Man United duo Diogo Dalot and Bruno Fernandes finding the back of the net. The 37-year-old Cristiano Ronaldo required medical attention on the pitch, but later returned with a bandage on his nose and played the entire 90 minutes of the match. Now, that is it for today in retrospect. Wishing you all an amazing week. Thank you all for tuning in. Until we meet again on Wednesday for another episode. The name still remains Shejackiesays.